Oh, man, I got a million stories about racing Ironman. And let me tell you, if you could avoid all of the mistakes that I've made over my career racing Ironman. So here I am today to dispel to you, if I only knew these things before I started racing, I'd have seen success much faster than what I did in my career. I'm retired professional triathlete, CEO of Dimond Bikes, TJ Tollakson, and today we're going to talk about the mistakes that I made and how they could be avoided in your Ironman racing to make you better. So the number one thing,
this is important.
I wish I would have known when I started racing Ironman was that 6 weeks before my Ironman, I should have done the majority of my sessions, and especially my Ironman simulation, my Saturday long days, my Sundays. I should have done all of those training sessions with a race nutrition plan. And let's back up and say, not only should I have done that, but I should have spent the time to really dive into this, come up with the nutrition plan, okay? So we did a video about how to fuel for an Ironman. You've got that, you can see the link into that. It is awesome. I've got a spreadsheet that tells me exactly how to fuel. The kind of Cliff Notes version is that when I race an Ironman, I drink a bottle of Gatorade Endurance every 30 minutes, and I take a power bar gel every 30 minutes. So do both of those every 30 minutes. That gets me to where I need to be. Had I practiced that more from the get-go, your stomach works just like the rest of your body in that you need to train it to race well. And if you're not practicing what you want to do on race day, you're wasting your time. You've done all this training, you spent all this money on equipment, and if you're not simply preparing your day's nutrition like you do on race day, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. I wish I would have known that because I would have had success much earlier in my Ironman racing career. These are things we learn as we progress. So the number 2 thing is also nutrition related. There's going to be a lot of nutrition stuff because it's what most people mess up in an Ironman.
Speak for yourself.
So the number 2 thing is I wish I would have had a diet plan to follow both in season and off season. It wasn't until late in my career that I met my coach, Jesse Kropelnicki, and adopted his core diet plan, and I still abide by this principle today, even though I'm no longer a professional triathlete. It's just a really good diet plan, but I wish I had a way to make decisions on food as simple as having a diet plan like the core diet. Jesse Kropelnicki's got a book about this. It's really about blood sugar control, energy levels, and so there's a lot of Gatorade being consumed for Ironman training. And so the point of the diet is to make sure that your blood sugar levels stay nice and level throughout the day when you're not training, and that you spike them before training, spike them during training, spike them after training, and try to keep them at the elevated levels while you're training, while you're recovering, when your body needs that. So when the furnace is hot, feed it that fast burning sugar. When the furnace is not hot, make sure that the blood sugar stays relatively stable and low, not super low, but moderately low, not spiked throughout the day. Huge fan of that. I wish somebody would have explained the importance of that to me before. It also goes into the need to really monitor your weight.
What about it?
For your racing weight. Every person has kind of an ideal racing weight, and if you're racing massively over your race weight, you could benefit yourself way more by being at an optimal race weight than you could by training hundreds and hundreds of hours. So also keep that in mind. Matt Fitzgerald has a great book called Racing Weight. He actually talks about me in the book. So if you check that out, you can learn a lot about how to prepare yourself to race an Ironman. My next tip is also about nutrition, and the thing that I wish that I knew was how to have the best backup plan for my nutrition in Ironman. So here we are, we've gone through, we've practiced on this nutrition, and we're on race day, and when you have a nutrition, it's going, the race is going, and then all of a sudden you get to this point where you just cannot stomach another gel. You're like, this is disgusting, I don't want to do this.
This is outrageous.
We've been there. Some of you have been there with me, right? So you're at this point, you don't know what to do. So what do? Well, you have a backup plan, okay? And so the backup plan on the bike, if things start going south, usually is in your special needs bag. Sometimes you can have something on you to help this. But the best advice I had about this was in your special needs bag, pack something special. So imagine you're on a long ride, the nutrition went bad in training, and so you stopped at the gas station and you went after what? That's your answer. Whatever you thought of right there is probably also what you're gonna wanna go to in the Ironman when things start to go south. So if you said a Snickers bar, a ho-ho, a Twinkie, a ding dong, an oatmeal cream pie, I happen to be very partial to oatmeal cream pies when I bonk. Whatever that is, go there. Maybe it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Maybe it's a McDonald's hamburger. I don't know what it is, but wherever you're going, when you walk into that gas station and things have gone south, put that in your special needs bags. We got about 16 miles to go. Stop and get some calories. What did you eat?
Lemon pie. Snickers. Mrs. Fields cookie. Snickers. Cliff Bar. It's the worst choice.
Have this plan for the nutrition and know that you can rely on Coke and or Red Bull to power you through most of an Ironman if you need. Coke and Red Bull, it's like nitrous oxide. You put that stuff in your body, all of a sudden, boom, your blood sugar is high, you feel like $1,000,000. You just gotta keep taking it, okay? Don't stop. If you're gonna start taking Coke and Red Bull, just keep doing it. And I wish I knew that. My first Ironman, my coach told me, whatever you do, don't start that until mile 20, and then only if you're feeling bad. And so literally I was racing Ironman Louisville. I was in the lead out of the water, through the whole bike, through 18 miles on the run, and then I got passed. I was at a super low point. I was lightheaded, I was dizzy. I get to mile 20, and then I'm like, oh, finally I'm at mile 20, I can drink some Coke. Started drinking Coke. Wow, all of a sudden things turned around. The last 6 miles I was able to run okay, but it was too late. The damage was already done. I lost the race in probably miles 16 to 18, and then 18 to 20 when I was really, got past and was behind. And so had I known that in advance, I may have had a different outcome. So use that and know that it's worth that. And I will tell you, if you start taking Coke on the bike, which I've done before, and do the whole marathon on Coke, your stomach is probably gonna be a disaster after the race. Just know that you can get through the entire thing that way. I've done it. You can...
Coca-Cola, right? Not cocaine?
Yes, Coca-Cola. Coke is Coca-Cola, not cocaine. I've never done cocaine before, but... So I wish I had a better backup plan. I wish I knew a little bit more about what it was like to be at that point where I hit the wall in the race and how to get past that. And I think a lot of that is nutrition, a little bit of it is mental, and certainly in an Ironman like that, it was a lot nutrition and just a little bit mental. So the next thing that I wish that I knew the first time I ever raced an Ironman was how important it is to urinate on the bike.
Sorry, what was that?
Yes, urinate on the bike. And yes, we talked about this. You could pull your bike over and get into a Kaibo and go. If you don't feel like it, I've got a great video out there that a lot of people have found very informative and useful on how to pee on the bike. You can check that out. The rule is this: if you don't urinate twice,
That's a lot.
on the bike in an Ironman, you will never run to your potential. When I started racing Ironmans, my first 10 Ironmans, I didn't urinate once during the whole race.
It's a pity.
So you can imagine how bad the run feels when you never are hydrated during the Ironman. It's a disaster. Okay, so this goes to your nutrition plan, but it also goes to the race day execution. Like, you need to be drinking that much that you actually have to urinate during the race, and if you don't, you're doomed. You will never run to your potential. The last thing that I wish I knew, I wish I had a better grasp on this when I started, but it's very hard for most people. You have to know when you need to race yourself versus when you should race other people. And it's a little bit different from a pro perspective than an age group perspective, because in the pro race, even if you have your fastest Ironman time ever, if you finish 20th place at the World Championships, you go home with nothing.
Nothing? Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
They don't care. They don't pay anything. And so a little bit of that is different in that when you're a pro, you need to race for place because that's how you get paid. But that being said, outside of championship level races, most of the time you need to make these decisions to race yourself. Okay, and what I mean by that is if you have a goal race power output of, let's say, 220 watts, you find yourself 10 miles into the race being passed by somebody you don't think should be able to pass you. You start going faster and you start riding at 290 watts for 10 minutes. Good idea, bad idea. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Why? That's way too much of a percentage over your goal race plan. That's a disaster. You start burning through carbohydrates instead of your fat stores. Your blood sugar's gonna drop. You're gonna bonk. You're gonna crash. See you later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Now, this other person might be doing the same thing, but don't worry about them. This is the time when you need to race yourself. Now, there is a time when you can race some other people and you can benefit from that, especially in the swim, right? If you get on someone's feet in the water, you can benefit a huge amount by staying with them, okay? And so there is a point where you should go faster than your speed, and that start of the swim is one of those times. Same can be said because there's a legal draft that can happen on the bike despite whether I want it to or not. If you're, within 10%, you can withstand that kind of a surge on the bike for a little bit of time. It's probably not sustainable for the entire duration. So keep that in mind while you're racing. Like 10% variance is kind of the max of where you should be. Otherwise, let the person go. Race yourself, keep everything here. I wish I would have known that better from the first time that I stepped foot in an Ironman and was like just entirely focused on me.
Beware the me monster.
With a little bit of awareness of, hey, this is a good time to go, this is a good time to go, burn this match here, burn a match there. But these are things that you learn with race experience. All right, that's it. These are the things that I wish I knew when I started racing Ironman. Hopefully they help you gain years of my experience into one short YouTube video. If you like what you saw here, hit that like button, knock out that subscribe button, become a part of our family.